All right, everybody, welcome to the Process 34 podcast. Thank you for joining us. Today, we have a very special guest with us. He is, well, first off, I'll get into what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about some fitness, we're going to talk about some nutrition, we're going to talk about my guest's military background. We're going to talk about dedication, discipline, self-control, and pretty much setting goals and how to attain them and pretty much just crush them, right?
Sounds
All
good.
right.
Yeah.
So without further ado, my guest today is Bryl Sieradzki. Alan, welcome to the show.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
It's been we actually did this virtually, 2-3 weeks ago?
Yeah. Yeah.
And did a whole like amazing show with great content. I was so happy. And then I go into editing and it was like, I had to hit him up. I'm like, dude, you're gonna be mad, but I can't get your voice to sync up with your lips, like to save my life. It was driving me nuts. So long story short, we decided to have an in-person podcast, which led me to the past couple weeks. My wife and I started spring cleaning, which I did a spring cleaning episode, which was going to be my next one. And in that time frame, like not only were we getting rid of a bunch of stuff, but it's like we started clearing out rooms and started realizing like, hey, that office that we never use,
hmm
let's turn that into a studio so I can just have guests come over here so I don't have to worry about this editing thing with this virtual podcast all the time. And she was like, all right, let's do it. She painted it for me. She put together the furniture for me while I was at work. Just like could not
That's
be more
awesome.
thankful. Yeah. But it
Yeah.
was like it all came from like, we're kind of like just like in a funk, it was like
hmm
winter's on its way out, seasonal depression's on its way out. Let's do some spring cleaning. Usually when we spring clean, we immediately start feeling better.
hmm
And then it was like I said, this time around, it was like, wow, like we discovered something that we had in the house that I didn't think we had, which was space for me to have guests over to do a
Yeah.
podcast. So it
Yeah.
was, it was awesome. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Super, super cool. So, anyways, so here we are today. During that conversation, obviously I saved a couple bullet points, but I mean, everything that I asked you and that you answered with was so good. I'm pretty much just going to do it all over again. So, um, a little bit about your background. Alan has a military background. He is a fitness enthusiast, I would say,
Yeah.
as well as a trainer now.
hmm
Are you certified trainer, or are you just
No, nothing like certification wise, right?
okay?
So it's more along the lines of just a personal mentor along your journey.
Okay,
Um, and it's something that I've considered dabbling into,
yeah,
getting certifications. I think a lot of that um, is more applicable if you want to get more into franchise or commercial type stuff.
okay,
And it's not a bad idea to have. So I started um, a bachelor's in exercise science for pursued that for a little bit, took a
okay,
little bit of a break. But most of everything that I apply is either self-taught or the coaching that I received over the time,
okay.
during my journey. So
Through your own
yeah, just
experiences and everything,
experience. Yeah,
yeah. Okay.
100%. So
And I know you said too that you've had a fitness background your whole entire life. Your
mhm.
dad actually turned you on to it, correct?
Yeah,
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
yeah. So that's what it's about, right? Is being that influence. As a parent for me,
Hmm.
like hopefully the things that I do that are healthy and good for my well-being rub off on my kids.
Right.
And without him maybe even realizing that he did the same for me. So he grew up, around the weights. I watched him actually growing up around the weights.
Okay.
He trained boxing, and before long, it's probably 14. I would say ninth grade. I used to ride the bus
Hmm.
from school, and we were joking around before that you could ride the bus, jump on any bus back then, and go
Right.
anywhere for after
Right.
school.
Exactly.
Um, so, for those that are familiar with the area, there was a Kessel's over off North Leroy,
Yeah.
and there was a gym behind there called the Body Shop.
Okay.
So, I used to ride the bus from the high school to Donner House, get off there, which was completely the other side of town at that
Right.
time, and walk up to the corner. And then I had a personal trainer that lasted for several months, and eventually came to a close. But just a great opportunity to learn, and experience overall, and that's what really kind of broadened my horizon to like, whoa, there's so much more than just
Right.
the basic
And you had to have been the only person back then that was gonna take a bus somewhere that you weren't supposed to go and end up at a gym
Yeah.
working out.
Yeah, that's a valid point. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome though.
Yeah.
That's super cool. And then that kind of basically that was almost like what your foundation, so to speak, or your introduction into fitness, and then you graduated high school and you entered the military.
Yeah, so it was several years after, I was about 23, joined the military, but I stayed active. Growing up, I was always in some sort of sport. I
Hmm.
was always doing a little bit of weight training at the house. So I was no like, weight training and physical fitness was always a part of my life.
Okay.
And then post high school, after some time, jumped into the military, and that's when the knowledge base just exploded with different types of ways to, you know, attack the body with fitness and CrossFit and just strength training, endurance training, group
Is
group training.
is
Just
this what you're learning from the military, like what you're being taught, or what you're learning from your colleagues? And
both.
okay.
Yeah, 100%. So you have your standardized, if you will, military type training, your physical training PT in the morning,
Right.
and that's more group endurance training. But
Okay.
then you end up on a deployment and you have limitations of
Right.
equipment or space, and you start getting creative, right? So, um, and there's all different types of walks of life that come into the military with different
Absolutely.
backgrounds, different passions or desires. So oh, what's this CrossFit? Okay, and in
Right.
different ways. So yeah, it was a great experience. Absolutely.
Is that where CrossFit started? Was it like, does it have a military background, or
Um, I wouldn't think so. I'm not
okay.
100% sure on that, but I know that it was really popular
Yeah.
around the time when I was in Iraq. So 2008, 2009, well, late 2008, I started really seeing a lot of officers and things like that. They were really involved in that. So yeah, I was more old school,
Right.
weight training and traditional bodybuilding techniques. So once you did like a workout of the day for
Hmm.
time, it was like, whoa, what is this? Just
Right.
really kicked my butt.
You guys
So
have some tractor tires out there in
uh,
the desert?
yeah, no.
Off
Around the
road
around the
trucks.
company area back in Garrison, absolutely, would be flipping tires and
Yeah.
doing all kinds of caveman type PT stuff,
Right. That's
But
cool.
yeah.
Well, cool. So you have a couple things going. One is just Alan Brill, the
hmm
brand. Tell us about Alan Brill.
Yeah, just trying to give back,
Hmm.
leave positive footprints in this world, man. Just that's what it's about. Be a person of influence and hopefully inspire some people along the way,
Yeah.
right? So, thing that I wake up and think about the most on a day to day basis is physical fitness. It's
Mm.
what I love. It's my passion. So how do I apply that and serve others? And that's where it led me to this right now. Is just I found a need. So I'm going to be 40 here in about 4 weeks,
Nice.
right? And I really just pride myself for still just getting after and killing it.
Yeah.
And as I get older, I notice that there's a lot of people out there that used to be in shape or want to be in shape or just better themselves in that way in some way or another. But they might not know where to start, or the climb might be too tough. So that's really kind of my focal point, is getting people back on track, getting them back after it, really enjoying their life in their latter years, and inspiring their kids. So
What now, like, obviously I know you have a passion for fitness, and I guess, how did this come about, this idea, or what you want to do with Alan Brill? And as far as you said, to serve others, like, is this just something that you've always just been passionate about, as far as helping others and wanting to see others achieve their goals, or is it something that just kind of happened through your own journey?
I think a lot of it had to do with the influence of growing up. So I was raised by my grandparents,
Okay.
and they were always involved in St. Vincent de Paul,
Okay.
like a food bank,
Yeah.
helping those in need as far as food goes, and
Right.
food baskets, and just the heart of a servant. That's the kind of household I grew up in. So I always had that instilled in me. I did some stuff on my own through the church, and as I grew up and really just enjoyed that. But it was just a matter of like putting myself out there, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? And how can I show up and be of service? So um, along the way, it's grown, and it's been rewarding,
Mhm.
you know, and it's something that I've kind of had to hone in for myself. But the seed has always been planted, I guess,
Yeah.
as I grew up and observed my role models and the people in the household that were influencing me. So
Right.
I think it was a little bit of both, you know.
I
So
wonder, I have the same, my dad was, oh, I mean, both my parents are, but my dad was always involved in some sort of charity or some sort
hmm
of way to help other people, especially children. And, like with the old newsboys and everything. And then as I got older, it just, I don't know, like something inside me always wanted me to go down that same road
mm,
and to try to help people as often as I could. He was always opening doors for people and stuff like that.
mm,
And it was just kind of lead by example sort
hmm
of thing. And now I find myself doing it all the time. And I wonder if that has a lot to do with people who are passionate about service work. Is it something like they were raised with, or is it just something that, 'cause I mean, everybody comes from different stories, different backgrounds, but that's cool to hear though, because I did the exact same thing, like, with my
hmm
dad. Is like, I just thought it was so cool. It's such a rewarding feeling.
absolutely.
Um, just, you could have the worst luck and just be in the biggest rut of your life,
hmm
and you go do some service work and you walk out of that place or walk whatever, however, with your head held high,
hmm
with that feeling in your heart where it's like, I did good, I feel good, and I feel inner peace. An hour ago, I was questioning everything about my life. You know what I mean? And it's that simple,
Yeah.
getting outside of yourself. And I could not agree more, man. It's
It,
huge.
an easy way to create a smile for someone, to provide service, I would challenge anybody, is to just go to your local grocery store, buy a simple bouquet of flowers, find an older lady, and just give it to her. Just a
Yeah.
random stranger in a parking lot, doesn't matter.
Right.
I've done it a few times, and it's powerful.
I bet.
I will say though, there's been a few times where they're like they're
I
kind of
was gonna
thrown
say, did
off.
they want to go home with you?
They're no, they're thrown off. They don't want the flowers. No, no, find something
Right.
like okay.
Right.
So, but that's at times that's kind of where we're at, unfortunately, as a society
Yeah,
in a lot of
exactly.
ways. So you have to accept that as well. But you know, but
Yeah. You have to be careful, which is, in some regards sad. But yeah, that's funny. I haven't never
yeah,
heard of anyone doing that before. That's cool.
yeah,
Um, you have something else called Body by Brill.
hmm
So that focuses more just on working out nutrition, correct?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So to kind of circle back to your first question, so the Allen Brill is more all encompassing, because there's a couple different things that I'm working on right now.
Okay.
But Body by Brill is the emphasis on the actual health and fitness,
Okay.
and the actual coaching, right,
Okay.
and the mentorship. So that's what Body by Brill is. It's the leading charge right now.
Nice.
Um, and yeah, so like I said, there's a couple other things that I'm working on with the Alan Brill, because Alan Brill is more than just Body by Brill.
Hmm.
I love to write poetry. I love to be active. I think making impacts. Um, you know, kind of help guiding fathers to be better involved, present fathers, right?
Right.
There's a difference between being present and being present,
Right.
right? So those are some of the things that I try to encourage and share and
Okay.
shed light to. So yeah.
That's cool. When I started doing Process 34,
hmm
um, I thought I had this just fantastic, amazing idea, and it was special, it was
hmm
unique, and nothing wrong with that. But then I sat on it for a year, and I did the journal and the workbook, and kind of just sat back and was like, I don't know what's going to happen next. Then I started this podcast, and every single person I've had on almost is like not the exact same idea, but somewhat the same concept. And everybody is kind of seeking a balanced lifestyle.
hmm
And how do I present that to others? And it's like, and I started talking to people about it, and they're like, well, are you worried? Are you concerned? It's absolutely not. Like, I could care less if if this becomes something, because what I think is important is, people like us getting together and sticking with each other and helping each other out. Because what I want to do with Process 34, I can say, hey, I got so and so that keeps coming to me with these issues or whatever, and they're not getting better, or I can't seem to help them. But Alan might be right up your alley
Mm,
because, he specializes in this and this and this and this. So we each have our own special niches, but it's like the ultimate goal is, how can you be a better person and how can we get the best version of yourself out of you?
100%. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's wild, dude, because I'm like, oh, I thought I was unique, and then it's so cool because I just started randomly picking people that I've been noticing on social media and that I
Mhm.
follow and that I'm friends with. And I wanted it to be people in the community. I didn't want to like reach out to big,
Mhm.
star-studded people, which, I like they would be on my show anyways. But, I
Right.
just wanted to go with people that were at my level right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, look how many people are trying to do good things out here and trying to, with all the bullshit that has happened and
Mhm.
all the bullshit that's still going on,
Mhm.
there's people still out here trying. And we're not experts. We don't have degrees.
Right.
Some of us do, but a lot of us don't.
Right.
I'm pure experience. You're pure
Mhm.
experience. And instead of going or continuing down the roads we were on, we flipped the script and now we're trying to help others. So
It's encouraging.
that's great, man. I, I,
100%.
I
Yeah.
love hearing it. And I love seeing people like you take your Alan Brill and then it's like, you notice, okay, now I can do Body by Brill. And it's like an umbrella.
Mhm.
Alan Brill is the umbrella, which all these other things are going to fall under.
Mhm.
So kudos to you, man.
I
That's, that's,
appreciate
that's
that.
sweet, man.
Yeah.
So with Body by Brill, are you coming up with like a workout routine and fitness, or not fitness, but meal plans and stuff like that for are they customers? What are you referring to
Yeah.
when you
So I have a couple clients
clients? Okay.
that we sit down and we just have a coaching call,
Okay.
and we understand the why.
Just over the phone.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. We'll just sit down and, if they're local, maybe we'll meet for lunch.
Hmm.
Go sit down and have a face to face. Right.
Okay.
The more that I get to know about them and their habits and what makes them tick and what they like and enjoy, the more successful they're going to be. So that's what we start with. We just kind of understand what the why is,
Hmm.
what their goals are, what they can realistically sign up to.
Okay.
Right? What can I absolutely commit to?
Right.
Right? What am I willing to commit to? And we go from there, and then we create a plan that says this is the plan to get you from point A to point B, and here's the milestones along the way. And a lot of times that's going to involve some nutrition changes,
Right.
right?
Absolutely.
um, I don't expect anyone to go from eating whatever they want to being a monk overnight. So
Right.
that's a process, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, if you 9 times out of 10, if you are able to get someone on a schedule,
Hmm.
consistency, and you work on nutrition with scaling, those are the two key ingredients.
Hmm.
Anyone's going to see positive results. So what comes with that is accountability,
Hmm.
right? You take the thinking out of it. You take all the past mistakes that I've made or other people have made
Right.
and just simplify it. And then you just bake it into a plan that is achievable and sustainable.
Hmm.
And, what do people enjoy doing? What are they going to show up to?
Right.
Right. Because if it's miserable or if it's not sustainable,
Right.
then what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Right. So,
And at some point that person has to realize that, I mean, especially it's with mind, body, and spirit, really. But when it
mhm.
comes to your body, it's like if you're struggling, 9 times out of 10, it's not just, hey, you need to make some changes in your diet. Like you need to make a whole lifestyle change,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
that's the most challenging part, I feel
It's
like.
all connected. You're right. And so if you're improving all areas, wow.
Right.
If you're
Absolutely.
working on them all,
Yeah.
in a lot of ways, that's what it takes. Fitness is kind of the gateway drug,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
You can get that honed in and you can be disciplined and committed. You can really do some serious self, work,
Yeah.
mind, body, and soul, like you said.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. So kind of discussed how you found your passion. I wanted to know, obviously, you work out a lot, I know family is huge for you. What is your go-to for calmness? What is your go-to for happiness? And are they different?
Uh, so calmness is basically just a quiet place, right? If I need to get a moment of just calm and peace, I love the water.
Mhm.
If I'm on shoreside and I'm just staring over a body of water, that is like my place of peace and
Okay.
just
Yeah.
right.
Same.
So every year that's where I try to get to multiple times in the summer, especially here in
Yeah.
Michigan.
Absolutely.
Lake
Yeah.
Superior is my
Okay.
my number one drug.
It's beautiful up there,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. But place of peace is when, I got my headphones on and I'm just in the middle of a workout and everything, all the white noise is gone, right? All the have tos or need tos or stressors of the day are gone. And it's just me and the workout, me and the exercise, me and the weights, and just being in the zone,
Yeah.
right? And pushing myself to that edge
Mhm.
and challenging myself and I can't explain it really. You know
Right.
what I mean? But when I'm in the zone, it's to the point to where like my girlfriend won't even really come down and have a conversation because she knows
She
I'm
knows.
I'm
Yeah.
in the zone. And it's not like a bad place or,
Right.
you know, it's just that like leave him alone.
It's
That's his place of
it's necessary.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. It's my place of growth, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? And therapy. It's almost therapeutic for
Yeah.
me in a lot of ways. So yeah, that's it, man. Just anytime I'm in the middle of a workout and some days aren't as good as others. You can't have, awesome workouts or whatever every day,
Right.
right? But there's moments definitely. And it's usually the days that you don't want to show up.
Yep.
It's absolutely the days that are like, you're trying to talk yourself out of it. Oh, I got
Mhm.
this to do. And then you get your butt there and you do the work and you're like, man, I just had the best workout,
Yeah.
that I've had in a long time.
Yep.
So yeah.
And I think that's like I that happens to me. It actually happened to me last week. I did not want to go. I did not want to go. And I got home and I wasn't going to go. And the first thing out of Candace's mouth was, "Are you going to the gym tonight?" And I didn't even give it a chance. I said, "Yep." Didn't
that's
even give it a
that's
chance.
awesome.
And I literally, she was like, "Well, when?" I said, "Right now." And I went upstairs. I got dressed and or changed and grabbed my bag and I just left.
Hmm.
And I got done, and I was like, "Holy shit!" Because I had just a crap day at work.
Okay.
And it was like I just wanted to come home. I just wanted to chill.
Hmm.
And then I just wanted to eat dinner
Hmm.
and relax. I didn't want to do anything else. I was at my wits' end. I was mentally exhausted. And I went and worked out and I was like, I could go do anything right now.
Hmm.
Literally. Like I have another 8 hours in me probably. I don't want to chill. So I came home and I started doing stuff around the house. And, that night of no production and sulking and self-loathing turned into a good night.
I love
And,
it. Yeah.
it was great.
Absolutely.
And that's hard for me. I'll usually, like, if because she's not the kind who's going to say like, no, you need to go to the gym. She's gonna be like, okay, whatever.
Right.
She's supportive. So
Mhm.
and I didn't even get a chance, because if I would have said, I don't know if I want to go, she's like, well, just sit on it and see what you think, or something
Mhm.
like that. And yeah, I'm glad I went. And could not be more true. It is, for me, when I work out, um it's usually a task. I'm
Mhm.
not gonna lie. I don't enjoy working out. I've been an athlete my whole life. I play sports. I love playing sports, but when it comes to like exercise
Mhm.
and lifting weights and whatnot, it's, I'll get into it for a month, two at the most, and
Mhm.
then it's just a slowly, case of efforts. With everything else in my life, it's nope, I'm not doing this. I'm not finishing until this goal is crushed, until it's done. Fitness, I'm like,
Yeah, no, I get it, and a lot of you're not alone,
yeah.
right? There's a lot of people. I'm just weird. I just love it.
That's
Uh,
not weird though. That's awesome.
yeah,
I'm envious.
but it doesn't always require the weights too, and that's what I try to tell people. Like that's what I coach and I
Hmm.
teach. But for anybody in general, like, are you kayaking? Are you mountain biking? Are you
Right.
just getting after it in some sort of activity? Because that's working out. I
Yep.
mean, not in a traditional view, but you're getting that exercise. You're getting, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So finding what you enjoy and applying that more and more is going to help people be successful. And then, the weights can get challenging at times, but maybe it's, more endurance training or strength training. I find that a lot of guys in particular that may have been out of the gym for a little bit, you get them doing a little bit more strength training, and just kind of the feel of like moving heavy weights
Yeah.
again just gets them rah rah,
Mhm.
feeling good about it. And they see the weights go up a little bit, they start feeling a little better in their body, and that's really encouraging for them. So it might not be the end all be all for them. It might be
Right.
time to transition into some more hypertrophy or different type of endurance training, but starting off, getting them motivated, I find that that's pretty
Yeah.
successful. So
Yeah, and what you just said, I mean, worked for me. Like, I mean, I had to tell myself, I'm one of those guys that I'm not gonna be a gym rat.
hmm
I'm not. I've had the opportunities my whole life, even when I was physically active in sports, in organized sports, unless it was required, I wasn't at the gym.
hmm
I wasn't. And so now it's like later on in my life, like I want to be in good shape. I want to be fit. And I want to have longevity and be around and be useful.
hmm
And so it's like, what can I do? Well, I play golf a lot. I'll go to the gym. I'll play basketball. I'll go for walks. I'll ride a bike, and then doing that has transited into I'm going to do this full body workout for a week and see what happens. And now it's like I'm doing it 3 times a week. It's been a couple weeks, and not to mention I'm still doing all the other stuff that I was already doing. So it's like kind of been like a snowball effect
yes,
that's wanted me to get more.
that's
So
awesome.
yeah, but it started small. It
hmm
started with like I'm just gonna do a lap around, just walk, and then I'm gonna go shoot some hoops
yeah.
because that's just all I feel like doing right now. But it's small, like very, very small steps. And within a month it was, I was at the gym 3 to 5 times a week and not even necessarily working out weightlifting, but doing other stuff.
Yeah, being
And yeah,
active. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And then
Basketball is a great
oh,
condition, right?
100, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I played pickleball a couple times.
Okay.
Holy shit. Like, that is some good cardio.
There you go.
But yeah, my nephew's a wrestler. So I'm always hitting him up like, hey, listen, like I don't feel like doing anything. He's like, just go walk on the treadmill, 12 incline, add it 3 for 20 minutes and
Mhm.
just do it. I'm like, all right.
Yeah,
So I'll
yeah.
do it and feel amazing.
Don't anyone discredit the power of just taking a walk,
Hmm.
right? And even in nature or down the neighborhood, and significant other, just getting out there for 20, 30 minutes and
Yeah.
taking a nice walk is so good for you, so beneficial. And I love that you said full body workouts, right? And how it just kind of slowly snowballed. And I 100% encourage that for most people that are limited with time.
Hmm.
If they're a couple days a week type person, maybe three, I would I would suggest full body workouts.
Yeah.
Full body splits is the best bang for your buck when you're
Hmm.
cramped with time. So, yeah, I think you're doing great there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Like, um, it's been very, very beneficial for just like I said, my overall well-being, but um starting that way for me made that daunting task seem like attainable.
hmm
And it's also an ego thing too.
Oh,
It's
100%.
I was like, well, I'm not huge, but I'm a decent sized guy and I'm going to the gym and it's like that guy's like the same size as me and he's like putting up 300 on the bench. I don't even want to go over there right now. I'm just going to go.
hmm
And that does go through my mind. The older I've gotten, it's hasn't happened as often, but ego and pride are a big role at the gym, and they hinder me from doing a lot of stuff or they have in the past.
Yeah, they I still battle with it. I've been in
Hmm.
the gym for over 20 years now off and on, you know what I mean? And I
Right.
still got to check myself. So,
Yeah.
but that's huge because if you want to be successful, you got to leave your ego at the door.
Oh yeah.
You look at big bodybuilders or whatever, and the guys are curling 40-pound dumbbells
Right.
because for them, they know their muscles, they know time under tension, and
Hmm.
you know what I mean? They have that mind muscle connection. And it isn't all about lifting the heavy weights. And there's nothing, I don't know if frustrating is the right word,
Right.
but when I'm in a gym and I'm looking around and I see people just slinging
Hmm.
heavy weights, just all sorts of wrong.
Yeah.
And for the longest time, before I really put myself out there, I was in a local gym and I would see someone typically a little bit younger, you know, high
Mhm.
school or fresh out of high school. And I said, "Would you mind if I gave you a little advice on
Mm.
this?" And 90% of the time, super receptive.
Yeah.
And I built a little relationship with someone. Um, but yeah, I mean, ego is what's got me injured before,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
not leaving it at the door.
Yeah.
So yeah, you want to be able to control the weight and not have it control you. Now,
Exactly.
of course, you know, powerlifting, different movements, the rules, you know,
Mm.
adjust a little bit, but
Right.
for the most case scenario, yeah, leave the ego at the door,
Yeah.
you know.
Or, I'd find myself defeated very fast
Uh-huh.
and would give up. Or 2 weeks in, I'm like, I think I tore my rotator cuff, and I got to take a month off and ice this thing because I
Yeah.
can't even move it
Hmm.
because I went straight into, like I've been doing this for 3 years
Yeah.
and it's been 3 days, Cody. Just
Right.
slow it
Right.
down, dude. Slow it down.
Oh man, the importance of mobility,
Yeah.
stretching and mobility drills as we get older
Yeah.
are super important, and it's something I neglected for a long part of my journey.
Yeah.
And I've taken extra time with
Yep.
learning, you know, how to protect
Yeah.
the joints,
Yep.
right,
Yep.
and build longevity with them for long
Absolutely.
term health, and so yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely necessary.
I started doing this like a 5 to 10 minute stretch routine
Hmm.
every morning.
Hmm.
Um, I was having tons of problems with my back, and I mean, just I was getting MRIs and X-rays. Nobody could figure it out.
Hmm.
Nobody could tell me what was wrong. And I sit at a desk all day, Monday through Friday, and it's 6 monitors. I'm By the end of the day, I'm hunched over.
Hmm.
My posture's terrible. And then it's like, I'm going to go play golf, or I'm going to go do this, or I'm going to go to the gym. And it's like, I was never stretching.
Uh-huh.
My diet was not the greatest. And I couldn't figure it out. Like, what was wrong with me? I'm 35, 36, 37 years old, and I'm walking around like I have, my spine is caving in.
Mm.
And went through all these doctor appointments and everything, and they're like, it's not skeletal, there's nothing wrong with your bones, everything looks good. So then I said, you know what, I started doing yoga with Candace
Mm.
and started just doing a couple stretching techniques, hit the chiropractor for like 2 months straight, like once a week, and then started getting massages for a week, and within 6 months it's like, oh, I can move.
Mm.
It's like, oh, it was just because I wasn't doing anything at all.
Yeah, yeah, and that's great. I mean, self-care is huge,
Yeah.
right? Or especially, you know, when I work out 5 days a week. That's my
Yeah,
typical
that's awesome.
regiment, right? So here I am stressing and beating the body a little bit, you know, but do we make time to stretch
Right.
and get the massages? And
Yeah.
so that's super important. And I'm curious. We'll have to do something after this to see, because I've been working on the rounded shoulder stuff, right?
Yeah.
And that's a lot to do with the thoracic and the chest dominating, pulling the shoulders forward. And there's a
Mhm.
way to gauge and test that. It's simple. So we'll have to run through that after this and see
Yeah.
if we notice anything.
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
man. So we talked about the fitness, we talked about nutrition and everything. One thing I know without a doubt, and something I've always admired with you about you, is your passion for fatherhood and
Mm.
family, and just you're a girl dad like I am.
Hmm.
And I know they mean the world to you. Just tell me a little bit about that and why you are so passionate about it.
Great question. Um, yeah, I don't know. It changed my world.
Mhm.
You know, having kids and having my first daughter. You know, it's actually my daughter's birthday right now. She's 21. She's in
Really?
Germany.
Happy
She's married
birthday.
to a soldier,
Awesome.
Tatiana. So happy birthday, Tatiana.
Happy birthday.
Um, and then Tanya, Taylor, and Tabitha, all T's. And yeah, Tanya's 16, and Taylor, she's about to be 10 this year. And then Tabitha is 2 days from now, so Monday. She turns 7, so we got her Nintendo Switch.
Wow.
So
Oh,
there's
cool.
yeah, yeah. Uh, just a game changer, man, and just having someone that looks up to you and the whole daddy girl effect. It taught me compassion and like softness.
Mhm.
You know, I've grown up, just in my background and through the military, to be kind of this hard ass,
Mhm.
right? This, you know, you have to keep it tough, right?
Right.
But they really they really showed me how to be soft in all the important ways too,
Mhm.
right? And just their constant dependent nature that they need, and then just I don't know, it changed everything about
Yeah.
the way that I operate
Yeah.
in life, the dynamic, and there's nothing more special than just hearing that little, daddy
Yeah.
from the back seat or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, just absolutely love my time and just hope to just leave positive impressions along their life so that they can do the same as they grow into adulthood and
Yeah.
share
100%.
an experience like that. So
Are are they all in different parts of the country or all over the world, or are they some of them with you and some of them gone, or how's
no, so
the
Tatiana,
dynamic?
yeah, she's married, married a soldier. He's stationed in Germany right now.
Okay.
And then Tanya, Tabitha, and Taylor, they're in Tennessee. So that's
Okay.
where my last duty station was
Okay.
Fort Campbell, Kentucky. It's
Yep.
it's a little bit of both
Yep.
for those that know. So they still reside there with their mom.
Okay.
So we'll be seeing them here this summer.
Okay. Cool.
Be up for the month, so you'll be
Nice.
seeing
You
lots
get it
of
for a whole month during the
yeah,
summer?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's about 5 weeks, so you'll be seeing lots of fun photos of us at one of the
Nice.
Great Lakes.
Right.
It's our thing every year. Get the paddleboard out there and
Good.
do some camping and exploring. So
Good, good, good. And
yeah,
then you have step or your girlfriend have children too,
yep.
or
She's got
okay.
a son, Braxton. He's
Okay.
7. He's about to be 8. He's a little athlete.
Yeah.
I didn't ask him or beg him. He
Right.
just natural, just a natural athlete, man. We just had a soccer game this morning.
Are you
And
coaching?
this year I've stepped back, so
Okay.
I helped out a little bit last year and the year before that. I was assistant coach, and it's just one of those things that come natural for me, and I love the game.
Yeah.
So I spent a little bit more time with him
Okay.
this year as the focal point, and he's just advanced. He just jumped from like freshman year to sophomore year.
Good.
Year 1 to year 2. It's just
Nice.
like
What
it's
school?
amazing.
Flushing?
Yeah, he
Okay.
goes to the Flushing Elementary School there. So, but trying to get him into some other things. We were out there because I play softball on Sundays, co-ed
Okay.
softball,
Okay.
and so we had him on the field
Yeah.
practicing, and
Mhm.
there was a couple balls that were hit a little harder than you'd like.
Right.
The kid just put a glove on it, no
Nice.
problem. So like, yeah, you ever thought about baseball?
Right. What what
So
did you play as a kid or growing up?
I wrestled, basketball, soccer, both indoor, outdoor. Played a little bit of football, track. Um, yeah, I mean, I would literally leave soccer practice, jump in my dad's car, take off the shin guards, be putting on the cup and the different
Yep.
cleats to
Yep.
go to baseball practice. You know what I mean? And so I was just all in.
Did you do it like through high school and everything or
Up to about my sophomore year, and then I started kind of falling off the
right.
athletic
Right.
trail and started doing other things. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Do your kids, your daughters, do they have like any sort of passion for fitness or anything as well or no?
Yeah, Tanya, every time she comes up, she's always in there working and throwing weights around.
That's cool.
She's done some yoga with me in the past.
Okay.
They don't really get that opportunity too much in their, where they're at right now.
Mhm.
But when they're with me, we're always active and getting down there and teaching them little tidbits and things they can do.
Good.
So yeah.
Good, good, good. Um, so you kind of touched on it a little bit. Like, I mean, you haven't really said a whole lot, but I know you went down some paths in life that you know, ultimately, if you had to do it over again, you probably wouldn't. Um, but you share what you want to share, obviously. But just, I know you've faced a lot of adversity in your life. If you care to share some of that adversity, feel free. If not, that's fine too. But what do you do and how do you overcome that adversity when you face it?
Man, that's tough right there. So I think yeah, there's been a lot of challenging times. Some of them self-inflicted,
Hmm.
some of them just really unfortunate. And I try to always look at a situation and pull from it what I can gain as a lesson or a blessing. So as I spent a lot of my time trying to share like, oh, here's my pain, or like, you know what I mean? Like, woe is me in essence. And then I started to realize that going through that allows me to help someone else, right? What I've learned and what I've overcome helps me to connect
Mm,
and share common grounds and maybe help someone else through their pain point. So yeah, I mean, I lost my mother at 3 years old,
I'm
right?
sorry.
So that was a huge one growing up through school,
Yeah.
right? And it just seemed like those type of blows just kept piling up. I mean, there was a point, and this again, this isn't a like "woe is me" moment,
Right.
but just when I was in the military, I had a neighbor, their daughter hung herself, and I was a first responder at 12 years old, and come to find out, her mom was in jail during the time, and I only knew about it because, I was out front, and well, my door was open. I think I was getting ready to lock up the house. And it was about 11 o'clock at night, and I see these two little girls running, banging on the neighbor's door, looking all frantic, and one thing leads to another. Their mom's not there. I go over there and assist, and come to find out that just happened. So, just try to help through that situation.
And
But
you were how old?
me,
Yeah.
it was when I was in the
Oh,
military. Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yep.
I thought you said
But
you were 12.
no, no, no.
Okay.
The girl was 12 years
Oh,
old,
geez.
and I had damn near a 12-year-old in the house of my own,
Jeez.
right?
Right.
So it just hit real close to
Yeah.
home. So just these little things that, through life that, the loss of a child, and all these stuff that like I went through, and it's like it could absolutely just crush me and consume me,
Mhm.
and steer the course of my life, or I can choose to find, you know, something to take from it and convert it into something better, not just for myself, but for others. And how does that look? Where is it? So very spiritual person,
Mhm.
right? So talking and having a relationship with God,
Mhm.
having strong community. I don't have a big circle of friends anymore, but I have a tight one.
Mhm.
And family. My father is someone that I can absolutely pick up the phone, no matter what hour of the day or night it is,
Mhm.
and say, "Hey, I need to talk."
Right.
Right.
Good.
So having someone in your corner, um, that's there for you, that you can just be vulnerable,
Mhm.
right? Because that's important, is to be vulnerable, and be honest, and to not bag it up. I spent a lot of time, especially coming out of the military, and the things that I dealt with there, with getting through deployment, seeing some stuff that I don't wish people to see,
Right.
and having friends come back and suicide, after surviving a deployment. It just doesn't make sense,
No.
but it happens. So if you take these problems or these issues, and I used to relate it to like putting them in a jar and putting them in your basement, or putting them in a shelf, but in yourself.
Mhm.
Eventually, there's no more room for jars,
Yep.
and the little triggers will cause you to explode. So you have to start dealing with these things, right? Because emotion, the Latin term is energy in motion.
Mhm.
And as soon as we store those emotions and don't let them go through us, then we start harboring real deeper lying issues. And I think I'm trying to remember the reference, but it's said that, a feeling beyond 90 seconds is a choice.
Yep.
And,
I like that.
and sometimes it's okay. It's okay to be sad or
Yeah.
angry beyond that. But when you really put that in perspective and really sit and think and digest that, like, am I choosing this for myself right now, or is this how I really feel?
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
So I know that's a lot to the question you asked, but I
No,
think,
I that's what I was hoping you would share some of that
yeah.
because that's like I said, the whole not the whole concept of the show is, but a lot of the show is just to, this is what I'm doing now.
Hmm.
This is kind of what guided me
Hmm.
to that. And it's important. I'm open with what has happened to me in my life, and I feel like when I wasn't open about that, I was hurting bad. It's hurting really bad. And I would like to say I wasn't, and I would tell everyone I was okay, and it couldn't be better. But I wasn't. I was terrible.
Hmm.
I was on the inside, I was just slowly dying basically,
Yeah.
and it was just, ready to explode. So that's huge. And I think with what you said about, like, taking these experiences that have happened to you, finding some sort of positive out of it, finding some sort of instead of why did this happen to me in a victim mindset? Why did this happen to me in a where are we going now mindset?
Mhm.
And that's, what I think we have to do,
Yeah.
because for me, it's very easy to fall into that victim role because, so many things have happened to me. Like you said, a lot of them have been self-inflicted. By all means, I'm not saying I'm this
Mhm.
poor guy that have, just been shit on my
Yeah.
whole life, but
Right,
you
right.
know, it's, people make these choices for themselves, and statistics show that 95% or more of the people that make those choices don't come back from those choices. So,
Mhm.
it's powerful. And now that we have gone through these things and we've made it through the other side and we're still here, is it, I guess it's not mandatory and it's not expected of you, but wouldn't it be a waste to not share some of your knowledge
Yeah,
and something
yeah,
with someone else that could possibly be going through the same thing,
absolutely.
So
Yeah.
that's huge, man. That's
Mhm.
kind of that's what I wanted to do too.
Yeah.
It's exactly what I wanted to do. It's just like this knowledge has to go somewhere. And that's not, I'm not an expert, but it's like, holy shit, I've been through some stuff. Like, let me
Mhm.
try to help you,
Yeah.
in any way possible.
Yeah.
And if it
Yeah.
doesn't help you, call Alan.
No, 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 but there's yeah, there's resources everywhere, and it's one
Yeah,
of those things where it's like, I might not have the answer, but I know someone that does,
exactly.
you know?
Yeah,
Let me help you out and building a strong community, so,
exactly. This
yeah.
network of just good, positive people doing
Mhm.
some good things. Uh, so I wanted to ask you, is something I ask everybody. A couple different ways, I guess you've kind of touched on it here and there, but just very specifically, what have you learned most about yourself throughout your adventures?
I would say that the body's willing, the mind's weak.
Yeah,
This how much you are able to overcome, and for lack of better words, just how much of a badass you can be, and
yeah,
that you are. And I mean that sincerely, without the ego attached, because there's really not a lot that you can't do
hmm,
if you put your mind to it and you really get disciplined and you buckle down and get after it. If you make your mind up on something, there's really the only thing getting in your way is yourself,
yeah,
And there's been a lot of times and a lot of ways where everything was stacked up against me, but my sheer bullheadedness and determination got me there.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And so I think that through time and practice and failure is the most important ingredient there, because I learned so much about myself, and what I do from that really determines how I move next
hmm,
or how I perform next. So I think just knowing the capability, and in a lot of ways it was small doses. I remember being in the military running. We had these big long runs, at a certain point in my military career, if you will, that we were trying to turn into mini marathon runners for whatever reason. I wasn't in charge. I was just along for the
right,
ride. But I think we were doing like a 15-mile run as like a whole company, and we were working up. It was started off with like a 6, a 9, a 12, and I think we were up to like the 15-mile mark at this run. It was scheduled every month or two. We were adding 3 miles, and you know, I- it wasn't unusual to come in on a Monday and run 6 to 7 miles. It
hmm,
was called the detox Mondays. For all
right.
the soldiers that went and
Parties and shit.
partied
Yeah,
over the weekend and stuff. So running was no stranger to any of us, but this was starting to get a little crazy, right? So,
hmm,
and I just remember like thinking, there's no way I'm gonna not fall out of this run.
hmm,
By meaning like, leaving the pack, the formation, like
right.
I'm not gonna make it. And I just got out of my mind and into my body, and then just the energy, and just, man, it was like by the end of it, we went halfway up this hill, this long stretch of a hill to the finish line. And here we
Hmm.
are, like, we're almost there. You can see the crest of it. And then our leadership that was up front turned around and starts going back down there.
Oh
And I was
no.
like, oh, shit. They were going to pick up all the fallouts, the people that fell off.
Oh yeah.
So we circled back, we picked them up. And here I am the second time up this hill, and I'm literally pushing someone in the back, just holding them up, encouraging, not in like a, "Hey,
Right.
you suck." It's like, "Come on, you got this. Let's
Right.
go. Come on, just, we're almost there." But here, a couple miles ago, I thought I didn't have a shot. And now I'm
Mhm.
pushing someone up a hill,
Right.
encouraging them to get out of their mind because the body's willing.
Yeah.
You're a badass. You got to believe it. So,
And it's like the energy of everyone
yeah,
around and stuff too.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
awesome. I've talked about golf so much on this show. I'm sure everyone's sick and tired of hearing about it, but I just had to share something real quick.
Yeah.
When you were talking about like that mindset of, you got out of your mind and into your body and just kind of let it go.
Hmm.
So like, when I golf, I it's obviously it's all you keep your score. I've been trying to get under 80 for the past 2 years now. And I've got 280. And then the next time I got 99 and then 95 and then I'd get 82 and I'd be like, and then 90 and it was just I just could not figure it out. And I still have not broke it.
Okay.
But I know now I have like worked so much on my mental game that it's like what is holding me back from obtaining this score is just that simple fact. It's my mind. I get to the point where I start knowing I'm close. And it's
Hmm.
just like I can see the finish line. And it's like, oh my God, I just gotta, par, and I could even bogey the last hole if I want. And then as soon as I say that, it's bogey, bogey, triple bogey, every single time because it's just my mind is just I threw it away as soon as I start thinking about it.
Hmm.
I start thinking about the finish line before I'm even there. And now my mind my mind has left me, so to speak,
Hmm.
and it's like you do want to be able to get to the point where you're free, you're just going up there and swinging freely, but you still have to be mindful and be in the moment. And when I get in that mindset, it's like I'm on autopilot and I'm just thinking about that number.
Hmm.
And you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like it's this battle. And but that just made me think about it because it's like it's so much of this endurance and anything that you're trying to do in life, period. Pretty much it's
Yeah.
you don't have to become your thought,
No.
but you can sit with it for a second,
Hmm.
but let it be, go back to focus what you're doing, or just let it all go and let your body take over, like you said, and just
Right.
really really be in the moment.
Yeah.
you know
Yeah. And it's amazing how much our thoughts create our reality, right?
yes.
It's when you really step back and soak that in, you're like, oh wow. And I'll tell my kids this a lot, and that's like I could wake up in the morning, I get up early, and sometimes I'm rushing out the door. I'm not
Mhm.
I'm not always like waking up smiling, and I'm like, oh crap, I gotta get going, I gotta get. So maybe I spill coffee all over me. Now I'm pissed off, and now I gotta do this and do that. Now I jump in my car, and now it's every light's red, or
Mhm.
why is this person going so slow, and all I'm doing is seeking validation for how I feel,
Mhm.
right? But I'm hanging on to that feeling because 90 seconds is all it took to get rid of it.
Yep.
Or I could just say, you know what, not a big deal. I'll get another cup, clean it up, change clothes, and out the door I go. And now it's, a whole different perspective.
Yeah.
I'm not seeking this validation to justify my feelings
Right.
anymore.
It's a lot better than poor Alan.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So our thoughts definitely create our reality in so many ways that,
Yep.
so
Yeah, I like that.
yeah.
I've found myself victim of that. Like I'll walk into work and explain all these things that have happened to me and like how bad my morning is so far. And it's like, nobody gives a shit. Like none of these
Right,
people care.
right.
Because if someone came in and said that to me, it was like, so,
Yeah,
guess who cares? It happens
yeah.
to all of us. And but yeah, it's just like, I've never really thought about we just want validation. That makes a lot of sense.
Hmm.
I just thought it was me being a baby and I need to change the way I think immediately because
Yeah.
it's not working out and nobody gives a shit. So
Right, right.
um I've been asking this to, or saying this to guests lately, and it's kind of cool. I just like to see what everyone's different answers are. But I'm going to leave you with this, and then we're out of here, man. Um, if you had a chance to give advice to your younger self, what would it be and why?
Advice to my younger self. That's a great question to put someone on the spot with. Uh, I think that it's what I tell my kids all the time, and they change ages every year. So, for instance, if you're 12, just be 12.
Hmm.
Be where you are. Be present with what you are and enjoy it, celebrate it, make the most of it. In some ways, I didn't do that in the military, right? I didn't enjoy the moment as much as I think that I should have. I was always focused further out. And I definitely didn't do it in my childhood. And
Hmm.
I think a lot of kids probably don't.
No.
When they're 12, they want to be 16. When they're 16, they want to be 18. When you're 18, you want to be 21, so on and so forth. You're always stacking yourself up against others. And so that's where I think we fall short. If we just focus more on who we are, where we are, and invest in ourselves. And so, yeah, just be where you are and be content with it, and focus on impressing yourself, not
Hmm.
others. Um, I think that would translate in a lot of wins and
Yeah.
less, less pain points.
Absolutely, dude.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. I tell my kids that same thing too, because it's usually around the adolescent years, where
Hmm.
it's like, and if they have older siblings, obviously, and the 8-year-old wants to be the 12-year-old,
Oh
the
yeah.
12-year-old wants to be the
Yeah.
16-year-old, and so on and so forth. And then it's just like, hey, what's going on? What are you so upset about? Well, blah blah. You know, go run through a sprinkler. You're 8 years old. You know what I mean? Like, why are we talking about this right now? This should not be a
All right.
concern in your life. You
Yes.
don't even know what that means. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and they, they get hung up on it, but I was the exact same way. Like, I wanted to be a kid until it was like, wait, what is that? Like, I
Hmm.
started understanding things more, and then it was like, I don't want to be a kid. I want to be an adult, and I want to do
Hmm.
this and that and that. And then, it's just a series of letdowns
Hmm.
after that. It is, it's a series of letdowns, and you need somebody to tell you, like, hey, enjoy this, embrace where you're at right now, because
Yeah.
there's gonna be a time where you're me and you're gonna be like, God, I wish I was 6 years old right now.
Yes. No, my girlfriend's son, Braxton, I just name dropped you, Braxton. So um he said something to me the other day when we were driving. I was like, my goodness, you got it figured out good. He goes, all kids want to be grown-ups and all grown-ups want to be kids.
Yep.
Yeah, you got it.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
That's
How
it.
can we find a balance?
Yeah, grown-ups want to go back to, being kids and,
Yeah.
you know, but yeah, that was great. That was great. So, yeah, and then you get the different ages in the
Right.
kids, and it's like, well, why do they get to do this? Or
Yeah,
why do they get to do this? And
exactly.
it's like, oh, yeah, trying
Yeah.
to justify and explain that to them when you're
Yeah.
this age. And
And then their friends,
yeah,
like, well, her friend showed me,
yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah,
whoa, hold
yeah,
on a second here.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's funny. All right. Well, so real quick, social media,
Hmm.
where can we find you and how can we find you?
Um, so Facebook and Instagram, Alan_Bryl. That's got all of the content you could ever need or desire right
Okay.
there. Link tree and landing page. If you're wanting to look for more information, get signed up. I'm on Facebook, Alan Bryl Sieradzki. Easy find if you can spell it. Uh, yeah, so that's where you can find me.
And I'm gonna try right now. I'm gonna put myself on the spot. That's BRYLSYRADZKI.
You got it all except for the Y as an I.
Oh, what
Mhm.
is it?
SIE.
SIE.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
No, you did
Okay.
great.
All
You
right.
did great. Yeah.
Well, go follow this guy. Not only just great content as far as fitness goes and nutrition goes, but get a peek into his family life, his personal life, and just see everything he is passionate about and all the good things he is doing. And I want to thank you. If you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel or my podcast, please do so now. On it's God, I can't even think of the name now. Spotify, as well as Apple Podcasts. You can find me on Instagram at process_34 and Facebook at process34. Please like this video, subscribe to them all, subscribe to my buddy here, follow him, and tell all your friends and share it, please, please. And without further ado, I beg of you to just please maintain positivity and hope. And if things are bad right now, they will get better. I can promise you, and so can Alan. So have a good one, folks.